Attention everybody, it is Tuesday, August 28th, and this is episode 45 of the Daily Comic. I'm Jimmy Bird. This is a show in which I read one comic book a day and then come here to tell you what I think about that comic. It's been another long day, getting this in under the wire, a lot of stuff going on personally. Changed up the location a little bit just because I need to plug in the laptop, but I'm here and I'm ready to comic. I'm going to tell you about the comic really quickly. Rick and Morty versus Dungeons and Dragons, issue 1. Can't quite master the glare off of my own laptop. Fantastic camera work. Thank you, iMac or MacBook. So anyway, here you go. Rick and Morty versus Dungeons and Dragons. I loved it. I honestly loved it. Now again, backstory here. I have never played Dungeons and Dragons. I have watched Rick and Morty a handful of times. I'm not a fan of either, but I know enough to fake it till I make it. So I chose this. This one actually, by the way, doesn't even count till tomorrow, Wednesday. But one of the perks of being part of a comic book shop is that you get the comics early. Now I get to read this, and most of you won't see it till Wednesday anyway. So Rick and Morty versus Dungeons and Dragons, number 1. Like I said, I'm not a major fan of either one. I really don't know what's going on. But I picked it up. I figured this is a great place to start. And that being said, I loved it. Like, I really loved it. I felt like the comic book form for Rick and Morty might be superior to the cartoon. I don't know. I think just even in the cartoon, there's these characters. They're caricatures of these characters, and they're so wild and zany. This here, the pacing was a little bit different because of the comic book kind of context of it. You have to kind of take your time and read it. They seemed more human and real, if that's even possible with a cartoon. The art is what it is. They look like Rick and Morty. You don't expect a lot in that, but I think they did a good job of nailing the essence of the Rick and Morty comic. There's enough pop culture references outside of both D&D and Rick and Morty that I loved the journey I was on. Again, I feel like this is a vehicle, that Rick and Morty is using this as a vehicle to kind of introduce new people into Dungeons and Dragons or the magic of it. Long story short, Morty overhears a bunch of different groups of kids talking at school about Dungeons and Dragons and how epic it is and how fun they are having playing their games. He wants to learn more about it. He goes to a hobby shop, picks up some stuff, then comes back and realizes he needs to learn stuff fast to be able to get it into Dungeons and Dragons. Enter Morty, just like everything else they do, some kind of harebrained scheme. And apparently Morty loves Dungeons and Dragons. He takes them through this epic quest. Of course, they can't just sit down and play at a table. They have to enter a great world where they are living out their Dungeons and Dragons fantasies. Hilarity and action and drama ensues. So again, like I said, if you're a Rick and Morty fan, I think you're going to love this. If you're a Dungeons and Dragons fan, you're absolutely going to love this. If you're a fan of just good storytelling, I think you're going to like this. I was shocked to how much I enjoyed reading this. Like I said, it made the characters likable from start to finish, and the twist ending and just a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I would recommend this whether you like Rick or Morty or Dungeons and Dragons. If you like both of them, my God, this is like heaven for you. You're going to just be in heaven. You're going to read this thing 5 times before the day's over. But I digress. Rick and Morty versus Dungeons and Dragons, issue 1. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think any of you watching this would too. And that's my hot take really quickly before I lay my head down and go to bed. If you read Rick and Morty, I want you to tell me what you thought. I want you to tell me what you think I should be reading next. You can put all that in the comments below. Make sure to like, subscribe, share with your friends. I'll keep reading them if you keep watching them. I'll see everybody tomorrow. Have a great night.